Yo, what's going on, guys? So I'm going to do a quick class setup video for you guys. I've had a couple people ask me in game and on my Twitch chat like what my class setup is, so I just want to make a quick video and cover it. So to start off, my AR that I'm using is the KN57, which I think is the best AR in the game as of right now. Its only rival would maybe be the tactical rifle, the Swordfish, which I think is also really strong, but assault rifles wise, I do think the KN is extremely good. For my attachments, I'm running hybrid mags, extended mags, and stock. So the hybrid mags is basically just a variation of the fast mags from the recent Call of Duties. It reloads faster and it gives you 10 extra bullets. The extended mags gives you another 20 bullets on top of that, so you get 65 bullets with both the hybrid and extended magazine. And I'm also running the stock, which I think is much better than the grip. I think that you can't really use ARs in the Treyarch games, at least, without running stock. I think most ARs can really go without the grip. I think the grip does very little in Treyarch games that I've noticed. It's sort of a placebo effect in my opinion. I mean, there is, people are going to test it obviously, and it's going to come out that obviously, it does have sort of a better pattern when you use the grip, but in my opinion, the stock is much better because of the strafing capabilities of that. The grip really is not required unless it's a gun that has insane recoil, which none of the AK-47 variants do. The KN57 probably has the least amount of recoil out of all the variants ever in the games. It's just a super easy gun to control. If you're a new player who is looking for a new gun to use, I do think the KN would be a really good choice, especially when you're running the hybrid and extended mags, because it's not so detrimental if you miss a shot. You have 65 bullets, you can most likely just spray the guy down anyways. So I also chose not to run an optic on this just because I don't think the KN ever needs an optic on it. I think the ironsight is perfect how it is. The AK variant always has such a really nice and smooth ironsight that it's not really obstructing your view. It would be kind of a waste of a point to use a red dot in my opinion. But if you don't like the iron sights, of course you could swap something out in your class to put a red dot on. And for my secondary, I'm running the Helion salvo, which I think is probably the best secondary to run if you're trying to level up quickly. There's always so many streaks, especially early on in the game. People are always just running the default streaks like UAV and attack choppers and stuff like that. So they're always being cycled throughout the match, and if you have Engineer on paired with the Helion salvo, you'll be able to see all of this stuff on the map very clearly. It'll be bright red for you. So in my opinion, I do think that running the Helion with the Engineer is extremely smart if you're trying to level up quickly. Now for my attachments for the Helion, you could choose whatever you want really. I went with the rocket cache at first, but then I switched over to the fast loader. The rocket cache gives you 2 extra rockets, so a total of 5, which allows you to shoot down a bunch of enemy UAVs if you need to. There's been a couple games where it's been, back-to-back UAVs, counter UAVs, care packages, attack choppers, and you kind of need those extra rockets without, if you don't want to suicide to get more rockets, the best thing for you is rocket cache. But that's not really that often, so I chose fast loader instead, which allows you to reload the rockets faster, because a lot of times what happens is you're shooting down an attack chopper or something like that, or a gunship, and you kind of get gunned down as you're reloading, which is obviously going to slow you down because then you have to respawn, get the rocket back on target, and hope you don't get gunned down again. So in my opinion, I think fast loader might be the best choice, but you could also choose rocket cache if you wanted to. Now for my gear, I went with the stim shot just because it's what I'm used to. I'm just so used to using the stim shot. I was using it all the time in the beta, and I can't really switch off of it now. Every time I use one of the default classes, like after I prestige, it's really hard for me to not use the class with the stim shot, just because it gives you such a speed advantage when you're rushing around. You're able to heal mid-gunfight as well as shoot at the people who are shooting at you. You're able to sort of out heal their damage if they miss their shots, which in my opinion is one of the best pieces of gear in the game. Body armor is not really that good in my opinion. I've seen people use it, I always play against it, and body armor just sort of gets melted off of you pretty quickly, as well as it has a nerf of reduced movement speed, whereas the stim shot only has a buff of being able to control your weapon while healing, and it heals faster and more often, so you're able to sort of rotate out. And say you're on a hard point, someone jumps around the corner, you shoot at them, they shoot at you, you guys kind of trade off, but you're able to out heal and kill him, and then another person comes onto the hard point, you're already at max health. Whereas if you had body armor, you'd still be weak and you'd still be trying to heal. You wouldn't be able to control your weapon while you're healing. Overall, I think the stim shot is the best equipment in the game, and I think that if you use body armor, I would say give stim shot a try instead, because it's sort of like having body armor, honestly. The way you're able to heal mid-gunfight, it gives you that extra little boost of health if you're able to hit your shots correctly with the hip fire. So for my first perk, I'm going to be running Engineer, which in my opinion is the best perk in the game. It's sort of a combination with the Heli on Salvo. Engineer basically highlights every enemy piece of equipment on the map, as well as score streaks and specialist abilities. So things like trip mines, barricades, even dogs are highlighted on the map for you in bright red. So if you've ever turned a corner and gotten mauled to death by a dog, put on Engineer and it won't happen again, or it shouldn't happen again. It's also really good for leveling up because with the Heli on, like I was saying earlier, when you're shooting down a bunch of score streaks, you get a lot of XP and score for that. And on top of that, it does help support your team because a lot of people aren't really running the Heli on. So if you're the only person on your team, you're taking all of that score and sort of destroying the enemy streaks, as well as supporting your team and that they're not dying to those streaks constantly. And on top of that, you sort of save your own life because you're not constantly running into trip mines or barricades and stuff. You sort of know where the enemies are going to be located based on where their equipment is at. So things like the Seraph's Beacon, if you see a Seraph Beacon, you know that there might be enemies around that corner wherever the beacon is at. A barricade is blocking off most likely a spot where there was somebody at, or there currently is somebody. So you sort of can use it as a UAV in a way, where you can kind of recognize, oh, there was a barricade here, yeah, there probably was somebody here, so there might still be somebody here, or there's a beacon here, so there could be people spawning in that beacon. You know, like a lot of these perks in the game are really only used for like really specific things like Ghost, it's only going to be used when there's a UAV. Engineer is going to be used constantly throughout your match, in every single match. You know, there's never going to be a match where Engineer doesn't come in handy, especially if you're running the Helion, which in my opinion makes it the best perk and most useful perk in the game. Now for my second perk, I'm running Lightweight. That's just for the extra mobility with that and the no fall damage. In my opinion, there's not much of competition in between the second perks, besides maybe Dexterity. If you want to use Dexterity for Lightweight, you can. If you don't really want to flank as much, or you don't need to run around as much, swap out Lightweight for Dexterity. That's a good choice, but I just chose Lightweight for that faster movement and the no fall damage. I think that's basically it for the class. If you are curious about my score streaks, I usually only run UAV, care package, counter UAV, just to keep it really simple. Usually you can rotate through that really quickly. There's been times where I've rotated through that 5 times in one life and just had, you know, constant UAVs and counter UAVs coming. Care packages are really good in this game, actually, especially with Engineer. That's another thing I actually forgot about. When running Engineer with a care package, you're able to re-roll your care package. So let's say you get a UAV from a care package, you can get a second chance of that care package and re-roll it for a better item. So there's been a lot of times where, you know, I get an RC car, which I never use the RC car. I don't like the RC car, and I re-roll it and I get something like, you know, a lightning strike, a hellstorm. There's been times where I've gotten gunships, snipers nests, mantises, drone squads. You know, there's just a lot of really good stuff that you can get from these care packages, which makes it, you know, one of the best kill streaks in the game at only like 500 score too. So the ability to get these high score kill streaks from a care package is really good, especially if you're running Engineer, because it's sort of like getting 2 care packages in one. You get 2 tries at this. You get to sort of gamble your kill streak for the chance of a better kill streak. So that's basically it for the class setup video. If you guys do try out the class, I am interested to see how it worked out for you, so leave a comment below if it worked out, your thoughts on it, what you would change about it, if there's anything you would change. And I think on the next video I'm going to make one on how to level up quickly in Black Ops 4. I'm already 2nd prestige, and I think I've figured out one of the best ways to earn score in the game. I haven't really seen anybody higher than me. I haven't played against anyone higher than me. I'm sure there are people who are higher than me, but I'm usually the highest level in the game, and I think I sort of figured out a really good way to earn XP really quickly and consistently top the scoreboard. So I think that's going to be the next video. I've also been getting a lot of really good gameplays. I've been getting it really close to an 80 bomb. Earlier I dropped a 79 and 13 on firing range, which was really nice, and that was with the default class. So I've got a lot of ideas for videos and stuff, so I'm going to try to keep them coming for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Peace out.